Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to connect a kid's toy to cutting-edge AI. And in doing that, we're going to uncover this hidden principle for cutting through all the noise. A secret that helps, everyone from scientists to therapists, even video game designers, find clarity in all the chaos. I know, it sounds a little weird, right? How can a toy explain the future of AI? But the answer, well, it reveals this really powerful way of thinking. So let's start in the world of Lego, but probably not in the way you remember it. All right, so we're diving into something called Lego-based therapy. Now, in this world, they have a concept called Lego volumetrics. It's a pretty fascinating idea, really. It's all about how the type of brick you use can actually manage complexity and even guide how people interact with each other. And really, it all boils down to two types of bricks. You got your standard Lego and your Duplo. Each one represents a completely different kind of mental energy. Okay, first up, standard Lego. You know the ones, this is what we'd call the high-volume world. I want you to think of it like a flood of text messages. You need hundreds, maybe thousands of these tiny little pieces just to fill a space. All your focus gets sucked into the tiny details, right? The fine motor skills. And that can totally obscure the bigger picture of what you're actually trying to build together. But then, you've got Duplo. This is the complete opposite. It's the high-impact world. The bricks are huge, so just a handful can fill that same space. So instead of 100 texts, it's like sending one single important email. The technical stuff gets way simpler, which frees up all that mental energy to focus on what really matters. The big picture, the creative part, the social side of the build. Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. This exact same problem, being totally overwhelmed by a million tiny technical details, it's not just for therapists and Legos. It's actually a massive, massive challenge for scientists who are trying to make sense of the natural world. I mean, think about it. Researchers looking at things like weather patterns or how our biology works, they're dealing with systems that have thousands of things all interacting with each other at once. It's a level of complexity that is just, it's impossible for a human brain to track it all, let alone make sense of it. And this is a key point from researcher Boyuan Chen at Duke. He says the problem isn't that we don't have enough data. Oh no, we're drowning in data. The real challenge is we don't have the right tools to sift through all that information and find the simple, elegant rules that we know are hidden in there somewhere. So the big question is, how on earth do you find simple, predictable patterns inside something that looks like just infinite chaos? Well, this is where a new AI framework comes into play. It's inspired by scientists called Dynamicists, who spend their lives studying how these crazy, complex systems actually change over time. And this new AI, it basically acts as the ultimate Lego supplier for these scientists. It's a perfect analogy. So what does it do? Well, it's designed to look at that absolute mess of raw data, all those thousands of tiny interacting pieces. In our analogy, this is the standard Lego world. And here's the magic trick. The AI sifts through all that noise, and it finds the few, big, stable patterns that are actually running the whole show. These are our Duplo bricks. It takes something impossibly complex and boils it down to something a human scientist can actually look at and understand. So right here is where you can see how perfectly these two worlds, Lego therapy and AI science, just completely mirror one another. The parallel is pretty amazing when you lay it out. That super complex state with thousands of variables, that's our standard Lego. The simplified, easy-to-understand model the AI spits out, that's our Duplo. And the goal? Well, the goal is exactly the same in both worlds, to trade all that high-volume technical noise for high-impact clarity. Doesn't matter if you're looking for social connection or scientific breakthrough. So how does the AI actually do this? It does it by finding what scientists call attractors. Now think of attractors as the stable states that a system just naturally wants to settle into over time. They are, for all intents and purposes, the big, reliable Duplo bricks of the system. They give it structure and make it predictable, even when everything else looks like chaos. And you know what? This whole idea, this Duplo principle of finding the big, high-impact pieces in a sea of tiny, standard Lego pieces, it's not just for therapy or science. This is a super powerful strategy that shows up all over the place, especially in business. For example, have you ever heard the term whale in the video game industry? A single whale is a player who spends a ton of money and time on a game. They might bring in more revenue than literally thousands of casual players put together. That is a classic low-volume, high-impact target. So when a company goes on a whale hunt, what are they doing? They're using the Duplo principle. It's all about focusing your energy, your time, your communication on those few high-impact Duplo targets and not getting lost in the noise of all the low-impact standard Lego of the rest of the market. So, at the end of the day, this isn't just some clever analogy. It's a really universal principle for dealing with complexity. Whether we're talking about therapy or science or business, the goal is always the same. You have to intentionally look for simplicity to unlock real understanding and find what truly matters. And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. What complex, overwhelming Lego system in your own world, maybe at work or in your personal life, is really just a giant pile of those tiny little bricks, just waiting for you to find the handful of Duplo pieces that will finally make it all click?